God gives us every good thing. In a valley where the grass smelled of sweet clover lived a young builder named Ezra. He had a big dream in his heart, to build a sturdy bridge across the rushing stream so the whole village could gather on the flowery hill for picnics. Ezra stood by the water's edge, looking at the heavy stones and tall timber, wondering if he was strong enough for such a task. His friend Eliana came by with a roll of parchment and a bright smile. She saw Ezra's doubt and unrolled the plans they had drawn together. "Remember, Ezra," she whispered, "we don't have to rely only on ourselves. Every good plan starts with a quiet heart and a memory of who gives us the strength to begin." Ezra began to work. He reached down and gripped a massive beam of oak. To his surprise, he felt a steady surge of power in his arms. He lifted the wood with a rhythmic breath, placing it exactly where it needed to go. He realized that his muscles and his energy were gifts, fueled by a strength far greater than his own. As the days passed, Ezra began to carve beautiful patterns into the handrails. His fingers moved with a grace he didn't know he possessed. Delicate vines and leaves emerged from the wood. He marveled at how his hands knew just where to move, realizing that his creativity was a spark lit by the Creator. Eliana brought a jar of cool water and sat with him in the shade. "You are working so hard," she said. Ezra took a sip and looked at the bridge taking shape. "I used to think this was all my doing," he admitted. "But now I see that God is always nigh. He is in the steady beat of my heart and the way the wood fits together so perfectly." Suddenly, the sky turned gray and a heavy rain began to fall. The stream rose and the wind tugged at the unfinished planks. Ezra felt a momentary flash of fear. Would all his hard work be swept away? He stood in the rain, watching the water swirl around the base of his bridge. He remembered a promise, that he would never be led into a storm without a guide. Ezra closed his eyes and breathed deeply. He didn't ask for the rain to stop, but for the wisdom to keep going. In his heart, he felt a warmth that the cold rain couldn't touch, a reminder that God keeps his promises to be our shelter. The storm passed, and the bridge stood firm. Ezra and Eliana worked side by side to finish the final steps. They hammered the last pegs and polished the wood until it glowed like honey. The bridge was more beautiful than Ezra had ever imagined, a testament to a plan much larger than his own. The villagers began to arrive. Eliana took the hand of a small child and led the way across the sturdy planks. The bridge didn't just cross a stream, it brought people together. As she walked, Eliana looked back at the work and felt a deep sense of peace, knowing they had been guided every step of the way. Ezra stood at the entrance of the bridge and looked up at the vast blue sky. He didn't boast of his skill or his heavy lifting. Instead, he folded his hands and whispered a prayer of thanks. He knew now that every gift, every bit of strength, and every successful day came from the one who loves us most.